NATO is preparing for its biggest military exercise since the Cold War. And it's to simulate, I guess, according to the Financial Times, it's to simulate what an attempt would be to repel Russian aggression against one of its members. So the Financial Times writes this: NATO is preparing its biggest live joint command exercise since the Cold War next year, assembling more than 40,000 troops to practice how the alliance would attempt to repel Russian aggression against one of its members.
Okay.
Guys, don't do that. Because that is, so it's called the Steadfast Defender NATO war drill, and it's set for early 2024. I think it's February and March. And you know,
okay, that's why when you said 40,000 didn't sound right to me, but
that's what the Financial Times says.
Yeah, but when you mentioned 2024,
Oh,
it made
yeah,
sense
yeah.
because I have a different numbers.
Oh,
It's
okay.
3,000.
Yeah.
It's 3,000 with 30 ships, but that's next week.
Right.
So that's why I was like, wait a minute. So
okay, got
I'm
it.
glad
Yes.
you mentioned 2024.
2024.
No, there is one that is going to be going on. As a matter of fact, it's in the Baltics as we speak for 2 weeks. That includes 30 ships and 3,000, mainly coming from Sweden.
Yeah.
So that is very problematic. What's problematic about it? It's the location in Baltics. So later along, we are thinking of sending some type of missiles to Ukraine. Of course, Victoria Nolan has been pushing for this. Where the danger I see for that is Russia is not going to be thinking twice about preparing its tactical and strategic.
Yeah.
They're going to have to. They already started activating Alexander.
Yeah.
Iskander, which is a very I don't know about the Sarmat. Sarmats, those are very highly advanced, and but the fact that the Russians are activating those just in case tells me they are not taking any chances.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like Russia doesn't bluff.
Well, the problem is why NATO is one. Why is NATO want to have a war with Russia? That's to me that why they because that I saw an image of what it's. Did you know that the reason why Elon Musk cut off the Starlink to Ukraine? It's because the plan was to attack the Russian ships on the Black Sea.
Yeah.
And if they do that, Russia is going to retaliate with the nuclear tactical and they'll wipe out everything.
Well, and that's the craziest thing to me. I actually agree with this completely. Why provoke Russia? It you know, in the Ukraine situation, we've heard this a couple of times where the narrative is, and this is actually not the narrative, I think, coming directly out of the US or Western countries. But, you know, I remember Zelensky was saying, you know, we are here guarding Russia from guarding the rest of Europe from Russia's attack on Europe. And this is my personal take on it, but I don't see Russia going out and saying, we're ready to attack the rest of Europe. That's not what I'm seeing.
And Russia is not interested in that. Russia was never interested in that. That's one thing that those who do not know history a little bit about understanding. Remember when we had Mike Grupa? And explained just from the perspective of Poland, Polish people, even Polish people, the younger generation, they don't know the history of so Russia was never intended into has never intentions rather to take over Europe. They are not interested in that, and they won't do it. First of all,
and I don't think do they have the resources
they
to
don't
do
have
that?
the manpower to do. They're not interested. Where the challenge that created all this, it was because we planned to push Europe away from Russia economically, because we started to see the developments of European economy was moving forward. And that due to access to cheap energy. I've always said this, that if you as a country have access to energy, it will reflect on your economic outlook.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we didn't want to, because we start to see that with Germany. I mean, just go back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Go back 10 years ago and think about where the German economy was.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Right.
Not anymore. The German economy is slowly collapsing. So we didn't want Europe to be strong. We
Yeah.
didn't want Germany to get too close to Russian. And this was one way of creating this, using the comedian President Zelensky for that. But
Yeah.
what you do, the guy is not a the
I
guy's a
know.
comedian.
Yeah.
What his end? It's not gonna be pretty. I
Yeah.
mark my word on it.
Well,
Mark my word on it, because I am referring to historical events that took place. For example, just go back to
yeah.
what took place in Chile
Yeah.
with the
Well, a lot
yeah.
of
You go back to
leaders
certain
and
well,
in
some who were
untimely
yeah,
situations. Look
and
at
those
Prigozhin.
and those who were in his situation,
Mhm.
that will be the change that I see coming. And even now, you have a conversation inside Ukraine.
Yeah.
People are start to talk.
Well, the Ukrainian people have been suffering for a long time now.
Yeah,
I mean, their country, a large percentage of their country is in rubble. And for what, I think, is the big question.
yeah,
For why is this happening? And that's my big question with both the exercise that's coming
yeah,
up and the exercise that's coming up next year, that is this big thing. So apparently the steadfast defender, according to this FT report, says it will start in spring of next year and is expected to involve between 500 and 700 air combat missions, more than 50 ships, and about 41,000 troops, NATO officials said.
yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah.
Why? And if somebody can tell me in the comments what indications do they have that Russia is going to try and attack a member NATO state, NATO member state?
Yeah.
I'm very open to hearing, what that is. I just haven't seen it.
No, it's just pretext, no more, no less. So it's if they know NATO command, they understand. For example, the uh, Russia has a weapon called the Poseidon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
Yeah,
Poseidon. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. They know Russia will wipe out whatever, but we know it's the end,
Mm-hmm.
and that is why I hope some cool heads will prevail in preventing this. But
I
and
really
this is
agree.
where you're seeing now. I'm starting to see a trend moving slowly that we might end up seeing the emergence of an alliance between 4 countries:
Okay.
Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
okay, speaking to that, where is the North Korean leader right
Today
now?
is in Moscow.
He's in Moscow.
Yeah.
And we might do a show on that. Maybe we'll do it on Rumble. But no one's really talking about that.
No,
Because
because
North
that's
Korea.
what I see. That's what I
Mhm.
see coming. It's an alliance, and that's going to be of military nature. It's not
Yeah.
economic. Economic is part, but it's going to be military
Well,
because they're seeing what's taking place, and they're going to have to figure it out. You think about it like tactically.
yeah.
You got the North Korea, you got Russia, you got China, then you got Iran.
Yeah.
Geographically, those are where the hot spots are, in addition to Africa
Yeah.
to a degree. But for Africa, also will be of interest because North Korea just reestablished ties with Burkina Faso.
Right.
Well, Burkina Faso is receiving military aid from North Korea,
Yeah.
but also receiving arm vehicles
Yeah.
from China. So that's to me what I see coming down the pipe is this conversation that's going to be between Kim Jong-un and the Russian president.
Mhm.
It will be about that military dimension of
Yeah.
the relationship and possibly the alliance.
Hugely important.
Very, very, very
Hugely
big.
important. We're not hearing very much about it. I mean, if almost anything.
Nah, they're staying quiet about it.
Yeah, but then we get this, big military exercise. And what I wonder
Yeah.
is if that's real, if there really is intentions to do this big military exercise, or if it's something that's being put out there as a sort of threat or like a hype.
Yeah.
Because this is
Yeah, sometimes with something like this, you send the message ahead of time,
Exactly.
way ahead of time, because you want to create not a diversion, but rather to influence the direction of events.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's, but the ones that they are conducting in the in the Baltic, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
not the Black Sea, but the Baltic Sea, will be about 30 ships to my knowledge and 3,000. Those are usually small scale stuff,
Yeah.
but that depends again what type of weapons they're going to be using, what type
Right.
of maneuvers. Once you understand maneuvers is not about just going to the sea and fire, whatever.
Yeah.
It also has to do with the type of targets you are aiming at. Sometimes
Yeah.
you can do a mock attack or a mock bombing or mock whatever.
Yeah.
You use a missile and target something. Uh, I didn't detail any of that yet, but the fact that they are doing
Oh
this
yeah.
close to,
Oh yeah.
that's to me irresponsible.
I think it's irresponsible too.
So they dig in. I hope they are not digging their own grave, shall we say? I will use the term, because at some point,
Yeah.
Russians, they can only tolerate so much. Any country, for that matter,
Yeah.
even China, with regarding the Taiwan issue, they can only tolerate so much.
Right. And quite frankly, I don't really understand why the escalation is happening. And, even if the narrative is that it's to, fight for Ukraine and the situation,
Yeah,
why is peace not the thing that's being considered? Why is it the next military operation and not you must come to the
yeah,
table and decide what the peace, what the terms of peace are,
yeah,
or we will do this.
yeah.
Why is it that they're just going to do this without the talk of actually coming together for
Yeah.
peace, if that's the reason that they're going to do it, right?
Do you want the answer?
Yeah.
No money
Right.
and peace. So simple as it is. So, all right, guys, we hope you find this informative, and remember to, what time we're doing the live
Tomorrow, Rumble,
Rumble.
same time, different place on Rumble, because, if you guys have noticed, there's some things that we're tiptoeing around a little bit, and that's because this is not quite the platform to do that
What the
on.
topic tomorrow?
Yes.
We'll be talking about it, especially what's going on. So anyway,
Mhm.
we look
So
forward to seeing you
Rumble
tomorrow.
tomorrow live at the exact same time. Rumble.com/c/geopolitics and conflict. I put the link on the screen if you guys want to check it out. But yes, we got a comment last time that we're a lot more animated there, and a lot more because we're able to sort of speak freely. So
That's true.
we feel a
That's
sense
true.
of
Yeah.
freedom
Yeah, it's
there.
sad enough that we have to be thinking that it exists here in America.
Yeah.
That's sad
It
enough.
does.
You
It
know.
does. Well, our
Anyway,
phones are spying on us all the time,
yeah.
so it's not,
Yeah. Anyway, guys, well, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. As always, prepare yourself for changing world order. Till next time. Bye bye.